The first time I remember seeing it was Spin City.
Yeah.
For instance.
1995.
God, was it really?
That's 20 years ago.
I'm really old.
Yeah, and I had been at it for a long time until like before I even got that little part.
So what were you doing before? Because you had done some soap opera work.
You know, I really, in college, I did not major in acting. I went to Columbia University. It's an Ivy League school in New York City. I was an American politics major. I concentrated in American literature. I thought I was going to be a doctor, then a lawyer, then a politician. But all along the way, I was doing plays. I was doing theater. I did Pippin, Anything Goes, The Mystery of Edwin Drood, and thus for a short period of time, I was a homosexual. No, I'm not. I'm not gay, but if I was, I would do a one-man show about it. Thank you.
You should do that anyway.
So I wasn't even an acting major in college, but I was into doing theater. So after college, I went to the Neighborhood Playhouse School of the Theater, and I studied acting with Sandy Meisner. It was like a 2-year acting program. And it was at that time that I was just like, I thought I would do the occasional Neil Simon type play, and maybe do a movie, and I didn't really have a grand plan for how my acting career would progress. Sure. It was very naive of me, in retrospect. So yeah, but I really definitely started in the theater in New York, and then at some point I realized to get a job on TV, for whatever reason, because I'm temperamentally, comedically, suited, I need to do stand-up, because for whatever reason they hire stand-ups to be in half-hour comedy shows. So you have to actually get good at stand-up in order to get an acting job. So in addition to doing plays and going from bad play after bad play, I would go out and do stand-up every night, and I would just write, rehearse, bomb, and just slowly get better at it. And I did that for like a good 7 years before I started getting work.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then you moved on to a series of non-speaking roles in like soap operas?
No, I never did any soaps. I had a friend when I was in acting school, and she was like a casting associate's assistant, and she's like, if you want to pick up some money on the side, you can be the featured bartender on the soap once a week. And I thought, okay, I never even been on a set, so I was the bartender on this soap, like 4 times. And after the 4th time, I said to her, and I went into the casting director's office. I was so naive. I was like, I've done this bartending role like 4 times now. I think maybe next week you should give me a line. And then they just promptly fired me. Because I just thought, you work your way up. And they were just like, no, I can't lose it, just let me go. So that was the end of my soap opera career.
Obviously for the best.
Yeah, I mean, soap operas, that was not what I was ever, I was never interested in doing. I don't know that anybody's really ever interested in doing that kind of material. Years later, on hiatus from Scrubs one summer, I did a month on a soap. Like they invited, and it was incredible. I went back to New York City, and it was a whole different experience. They paid me a chunk of money every day and guaranteed me a month's work. So basically I got to go home, see my family, and just work Monday through Thursday on the soap.
Awesome.
The soap opera, just for people who may be interested, they shoot 100 pages a day, a whole episode and part of a next one. So, I mean, on Scrubs, it's a 30-page script, we shoot 5 pages a day. So the pace at which they worked on a soap, I was stunned by it. So like if I'm having a scene with you right now and we're talking, and after the end of the take, like if I get through it, I'm thinking to myself, okay, good first take, all right, let's go again, let's move it for close-ups. And they're like, no, moving on. I'm like, moving on? What are you talking about? We didn't even... So it was a whole different way of working, and a whole different storytelling. And so much of it is exponential because you're constantly repeating what happens because people are constantly tuning in and out. So you're just basically rehashing plot all the time. So it's really, as an actor, not that interesting to work on that kind of material.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. I'm giving some very thoughtful answers right now.
No, that's actually pretty cool. Like I said, we like to just chat. So, all right.
Let's get to the banana hammock.
When was the last time you wore a banana hammock?
Not since the last season of Scrubs, really. Actually, season 8 in the Bahamas. I think that was the last time.
There are worse places to wear it.
Yeah, we shot an episode in the Bahamas, and it was actually quite a good episode where the janitor gets married. And we took the whole crew down there, like 120 people, and the island only had like 300 people on it, so we just like increased the population of the island by like, what, 33%. And it was like, a lot of times shows, they go on location and they're usually just like excuses to take a vacation. Yeah. But it was also like a really, when I look back at like what were some of the memorable episodes of Scrubs, I think about like that Bahamas episode, the musical, a couple episodes from this first season. Like there were some really, that was one of the better episodes of the show, I would say.
Yeah. Wizard of Oz. is the one
That was a great episode, My Way or the Highway. I think it's called Wizard of Oz episode.
Yeah.
That Zach Braff directed.
So well done.
You know, what people don't know about Zach is that he was a film major in school, not an acting major. So he really learned all about, you know, cameras and lenses and lighting and like all the technical stuff. So, and the acting just came naturally to him. So it's an amazing thing for him.
It does seem like I had to ask the question before, are you in touch with those people and stuff like that? But it does seem like quite a family. So, like.
I keep up with I keep up with the creator of the show, a gentleman named Bill Lawrence, and I see him fairly regularly. And then I'm friendly with Sam Lloyd, who played Ted the lawyer, and I'll see Neil Flynn, who played the janitor from time to time. Those are the people I see. And Bill's wife, Krista Miller, who was Jordan. I run into Zach and Donald and Sarah occasionally, but they're always like business/social situations in Hollywood, so yeah.
So, and now, being in front of Bill's, you do spots on his other stuff as well, like Cougar Town and stuff like that.
He likes the idea. He has a following, and so like it's really, I guess it's rewarding or fun for people who were Scrubs fans, who follow Bill Lawrence and his other shows like Undateable, Cougar Town, to see other Scrubs characters pop up on those shows. Yeah. And it's sort of like an inside joke, and I just go along with it. It's like, it's fun. You know, it's sort of cool.
So, one thing I wanted to just brush on, make sure we have time. The thing I wanted to brush on now, quite often an actor will have a particular character that, no matter what they do, people instantly recognize them as that character. And you
yes.
obviously have, at least currently, the Todd as that character. And a lot of times people get quite annoyed by that.
Yeah.
But you seem to have really embraced it, like, fully. Like, you've got your, like, the Todd merchandise, you've got...
I got a high five app.
Which is, I check out both of them. I pulled on the Android version.
Yeah, they're uploading that. They're updating it. They haven't yet, though.
I'm waiting for that, because we had this discussion, and for those who are listening, get both, but wait for the Android, because it's the unrated, essentially, version.
That's the anything goes one.
Yeah.
There'll be all the, you know, I had this idea for the Sci-Fi app years ago, and I finally found the team that would actually do it for me. So I created the content, they created the code, but the App Store is notorious for keeping for their decency restrictions. So my app, the High Five app I created, like it got rejected 4 times. And each time I was watering down the content more and more. And then we finally like nailed 30 high five videos, me for different occasions. You know, thank God it's Friday, happy birthday 5. You know, one for all different occasions that they approved of. And now, but on Android for Google Play, I can do anything. So I literally have like, you know, just the tip 5 and maybe some shaft. You know, I have some really like tip, shaft, and balls 5, all in your caboose. Like I have the dirtiest anything I wanted to say.
That's awesome.
And I just made these like 65 videos and we put them all on. So that'll be on. But yes, in answer to your question, I feel like if people know me from that one character, I just totally embraced it. Why not? Because like in my regular, I mean, that's not who I am. Yeah. Like it's something I can go play at any given time. So.
Similarities? I
think the Todd is like the adolescent version of me. You know, I'm an older guy now, but as a teenager in my 20s, I like to make the jokes. Everybody likes a sex joke. The joke is, if you like the character that I played, like you like him in spite of the fact that he's saying some pretty horrible things, because you know he's harmless. He doesn't really mean it. I feel like he could potentially be mean, but the Todd is like the most, you know, he's the most innocuous character, really. Anybody who talks about sex all the time is never having sex.
Now, I have a story for you.
Okay.
You may have heard something similar, but this one is a true story.
Okay.
When I was talking to someone about talking to you, he said that the Todd helped him come out to his family.
Wow.
Because they were watching the episode where they convinced him that he's gay. And then at the end, the janitor says, "What are you?" And you say,
I'm the Todd.
Right. And so they watched that episode, and he played it with his parents intentionally, knowing that. And then he said, "I'm the Todd," and they're like, "No, you'll never be a doctor, honey. You know, you're just not that smart." And he's, "No, like that's me. I look at everything and I think that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I'm just like the Todd." And
is that right?
It's so cool. He's like, he actually gave me the voice to come out and say it.
And that's amazing.
And his parents were like, "Yeah, we assumed, but..."
Oh, they probably knew it.
But it was a great way for them to actually have that communication. And
That's a touching story, quite honestly. I can't believe that. I mean, like, I make jokes about that. You know, people say, is the Todd homosexual or bisexual? I say he's trisexual. He'll try anything. You know, right?
It's Cheech and Chong Corsican brothers.
That's it. Anything that moves. But that's an amazing story. I can't believe that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I didn't know if you'd heard something like that, but
No, I don't think I ever heard anything like that. It's amazing. I love it.
It's quite a surprise to me as well. But yeah.
Well, the joke was you never really get an answer about whether or not he was gay or not, because it's like it's so ambiguous whatever he is,
It
and
didn't matter.
it's fine. It doesn't matter. It didn't matter.
That was the best part. Was probably easy for you as well because there were no labels. You could pretty much. I mean, I'm sure a lot of that was written, but you had to have quite a bit of leeway to just. Bill always allows that improvisational play.
Yeah.
You had to have a lot of fun doing that.
There's a lot of fun in there. It's good to be in that gray area because then you can really you can straddle that line. You know what else I'd like to straddle? Right? You could just go in and out of character all night long. You know what else I'd like to go in and out of all night long? Like you could just keep doing that, right? Until it gets so boring and then it gets funny again, right? Which is basically what I did for 9 years on the show.
That's not a bad gig.
No, it was great. I mean, it was amazing.
I remember the character very well, but I didn't realize how many episodes you were actually in.
Yeah. It was a one-line part in the pilot.
Yeah.
And it just tested well, and it was very funny the way I high-fived Zach in the pilot. And they literally had like a test audience, and they had like these things, they turned up when I came on screen, and then it became like, the character became like a writer's favorite of the writers, and a favorite of the fans, and it just caught on. I don't think there was ever an intention for my character to be there throughout the whole run.
Sweet. That's
It's
all right.
crazy.
Yeah. So you get, because you're still a main character, but you didn't have to work near as much as they did.
They were like a main characters, and I was like, I think I was the most frequently occurring guest star on the show. I did 130 episodes. Because anytime they needed a joke, I would just run in with a joke or run it. And you know, anytime you needed a button or a blow to a scene, you would just throw in the talk. Yes.
Pop up behind a counter somewhere?
And say, look, my anaconda, it's huge. Come on, who's with me? Anybody? No? Self-5. That's it.
Have you ever been left hanging in real life?
No. I'm going to do my Q&As. Have I ever been left hanging in real life? No, high five's a universal thing, man. It's such a universal, positive thing, you know. No, is my short answer to your question.
That's all right.
Everybody wants to high five me. People just want to high five me. I come to some of these conventions, you know, and they want to look at me, they want to say hi, but they just want to high five me. And so you know what? I give the people what they want.